All right, welcome back into Uptown Charlotte, coming to you live all day long till 5 o'clock tonight for the ACC Tip-Off from the Hilton in Uptown Charlotte. You see all of the teams there. We've got 12 of them today, 6 of them tomorrow, and we are about to key back in on Virginia Tech as you take a look at the production that they're returning this season. Carly Wenzel and Karis Baker both averaged over 12 points per game last year. We talked to them earlier on set. That was a great conversation. 55% of their points and 58% of their minutes back this season under their head coach, Megan Duffy, who is joining us on set now. Coach, it is good to see you, and for you, I'm sure it's great to see that graphic of what you have coming back, especially the 2 ladies here that we got to talk to earlier. How does that help you?
Oh, it feels so good to be back. Ladies, good to see you all. We're getting closer. Yeah, you got a chance to talk to Carly and Karis earlier. Just feels so good to have them back and new leadership roles. They have some experience under their belt now, and it's amazing how their presence is trickling down to the rest of the team.
Coach, what about you? We had Kate Pay on saying it's good to be a sophomore. For you to kind of have that year under your belt, what do you feel like you learned, and how much more comfortable do you feel now?
Well, first off, I loved it. It's a lot in your first year. No matter if you've been a head coach for a while, there's just new environment, new people, and I'm just really appreciative of our Virginia Tech fan base, the way they supported me coming in. And I think the biggest thing is just you're more comfortable, right? You're leading differently. You know the expectations of the marathon of an ACC, conference, and we're just thrilled to have a great group of returners back, and then we're blending our new players in.
Well, Coach, in your first year, you had a top 5 offense. You were one of the more efficient offenses in the league, shooting 46% from the floor. And then you do return Wenzel averaging 14 points, right? And Baker with 12 points per game. In year 2, in your system, what do you expect from this team to be able to do?
Well, I think this year we have a little more depth and versatility. I think, we were handcuffed in some ways with how we had to play. So I think we can open up the playbook a little bit more. We relied on the 3 a lot. But now we can be a little bit more versatile being in the paint. And, one of the things we're trying to get better at, my teams historically have been tough and had a nice mindset with our defense. And so we're trying to improve that a little bit. Probably Debbie doesn't love all of that. She wants to score the ball. But we're finding that mix of being able to play both sides of the ball a little bit better. But when you have some vets, you put in, key pieces from the new additions, I think we're going to be good.
Duffy, when I look at your team, I see the numbers, and I get coming back with some experience, but suffering coming back from injury is going to change the tempo. I also look at Jen Hoover and Natoro Coleman on your bench, and I think, wow, 3 head coaches over there that know the league so well. Yeah. How does that help?
Yeah, I think we're going to be a little bit more athletic. The speed of Samaya coming in, and then even somebody like Layla Wells, who earned some experience last year, our 3 transfers. There's a good mix that we can play a few different ways. We can spread the floor. We can get up and down. And then you hit it on the head. I got the best coaching staff in the country. Veteran coaches who have been through the grind. Even for me, I'm always a lifelong learner. So tips that Jen can give me, a Torah. We have a new coach in Darren Gensch, and then Sharnae Zoll, that name from back in the ACC. Yeah. So it's a great mix. We have a blast. We can have really great conversations about how to make this team better, and it's a joy to be around them.
Go ahead.
You mentioned the fans earlier in your first year and just what that meant to see that support. But I'm curious for you, because I know that first year you're just in the thick of it, just trying to take everything head on as it comes. Now that you've had a little bit of time to reflect, have you taken time to just realize what a special place this is? I know you knew it coming in because that's why you went there. But just to take in all of those moments that you had with your team last year.
Yeah, it was great. And I think even now in year 2, you know your community better. Like, you're out in town and, you're saying hi to, from families to our student body to people who have been supporting Virginia Tech for decades. And so that's a great feeling that our family's now ingrained in the community. And, with all the things that are going on externally, it's so nice to just have those moments with your team, with your coaching staff, with the people who truly love Virginia Tech. And I've really, really loved that. Even in this off season, you have more time to kind of dig into those relationships. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to make us, move forward this season.
Any of those relationships take place on the golf course by chance?
My husband gets to get out more than I do. But yeah,
that's how it always goes, right?
It always goes. Yeah, he has a little bit more time. But yeah, we try and connect in different ways, occasionally on the golf course, Debbie.
It's a special fan base. We know that, Coach. And Carly and Karis were on with us earlier. Those 2, the jumps they took last year in their game was just phenomenal. What else do you want to see from them this year, as those are going to be 2 of your real leaders?
I think the biggest thing moving into New Year's, they got a ton of real game experience. experience in crucial moments across the conference, non-conference. And, you know, when you look at them, you know, they had some up and down moments, but they're ready for this next phase, right, where they can take over a game, they can, you know, help us win those critical games down the stretch. But I think the biggest thing is their voices down to their younger teammates has been incredible. Their maturation on and off the court is what I'm truly proud of them, because they get in the gym, they do the right things, they watch the film, but it's the way they're bringing other people along. Last year we were all trying to figure it out. This year there's a little bit more stability in their loyalty towards this program.
Coach, when I think about you, whether it was a player at Notre Dame or with the Minnesota Lynx, it's the energy that you bring, right? You're literally the energy bus. One of my favorite books by John Gordon is The Energy Bus. Like, you're the driver of the bus. And one of the rules is, like, right, when you're the driver of the bus, like, you need to set your vision and bring everyone else along for that vision. Like, who on your team, on the court in particular, is helping to convey that vision that you have?
I think, you know, the energy we bring is at a 10 all the time, and I think that's what makes it so fun to be around them. You know, Mackie Nelson is a player that really came on the stage late last year, and she's that continuation of me on the court. Her and Carly from that point guard position. You throw in a freshman point guard as well, but they know the standard. They know the mindset we have to bring every day. We work hard. We have a high standard, but we have a whole lot of fun along the way. And I think bringing joy to this game as well through all the external things that are going on is something that we're going to make sure we uphold all season long.
Confidence through reps. Okay, you've been through the first time, right? So now you know certain scenarios around the league. You know how the league is played. This is a very high-skilled, guard-heavy, very good skilled with pace. That knowing that, and then what you did in the offseason to get better prepared for this year, what are some of the things that you did with your team, not just from a player development standpoint, but from a conceptual standpoint to get ready?
Yeah, I think, well, first and foremost, as a coaching staff, we could dig in all summer watching every game from last year, looking at some analytics, looking at a ball screen coverage, looking at just different lineups. And, you know, when we would lose a game, what were those key factors? Will it be the same this year, or do you have to be ready to adapt differently? The guards in this league are incredible. Even the post play, the versatility is tremendous. So we've dug into when we set up our workouts, we're going to do specific things. We're not just, you know, working on finishing or shooting just to do it. There's a purpose with everything we do. So that's been really fun. There's no substitute for confidence and veteran leadership. So being able to have real conversations about those moments that we need to get a little bit better at. But studying and digging in has been for sure the best part.
I love your non-conference schedule, because I think that's where coaches can create really good habits regardless of the competition, and then set yourself up for a really tough league.
Correct.
Well, Coach, you have put together a phenomenal staff. You just put that roster on the court and they can compete against anybody. So do you have to at some point say when players are questioning something or you need to teach them, just go ahead and put a Toro out there, put Charnay out there, let me go with myself. Like, right, we can do it.
We have something funny. We played a big game in knockout at the end of summer, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but Coach Atora ended up winning the whole thing. And, I mean, it was true jubilation for her and, you know, the confidence. So we have a lot of fun with this group for sure.
I'm not shocked at all, because Coach Atora was my coach at Clemson, and I remember her doing conditioning drills with us, like postpartum. She had just had a baby. It was just, she's an incredible athlete, Coach. But when you look at this coming year, we all are guards up here, all right? So we're a little guard biased, if you will. But I'm sure Virginia Tech fans want to hear a bit more about the post play. You bring back Cale Peterson, you bring in 2 freshmen. We know Rose Mishaw, she was such a big part of what you guys did last year. What's your vision for kind of that 5 spot in your post play overall?
Yeah, I think everybody's trying to say, when's the next Liz Kitley coming? Which is no chance.
There will never be another.
We love Liz.
Right.
But I think, you know, you throw in a transfer like Kyla Freelon. That was a big emphasis for us in the portal to try and, you know, either bring size, athleticism, a defensive presence different than we had. So she's going to be a great 1-2 punch with Karis. Cale Peterson just looks different being a sophomore. Her confidence, her versatility, and then, you know, we have a couple freshmen who bring us a little bit more size inside. So their physicality is a little different than maybe we had last year, and we're going to, you know, have a little bit of a committee trying to replace Rose. But I think the greatest part about this team, there's competition every single day. You know, they're fighting for spots and playing time in a really healthy way, and the more you can do that, then that cream's going to rise. So, you know, Monty Jenkins and Aya Trent will be 2 of those freshmen that we'll see at different moments. Kyla Kyla Freeline will be on with Karis, and then that Kale Peterson sophomore year will be exciting to watch as well.
You've got 7 newcomers all together, Coach, between some of the transfers and then your freshman players. You mentioned that competition. What are some moments where you've really seen one of those new players really try to stand out and kind of stake their claim?
I think it starts when they first come on campus. Like, you can feel the energy in summer workouts and fall workouts that they have to bring it every single day. I mean, whether we're doing a charge drill, we're working on taking charges, or diving on the floor for a loose ball, that energy becomes contagious. And I think when you see other people doing it, maybe you're not the one that's doing it. You're like, oh, I got to get my act together, because this is going to matter for those crucial moments we talked about that can steal us another win or two.
Coach, experience is the best teacher. So how important was last year's postseason in the WBIT, #1 seed? You lost in the second round, but how important was that experience for your players?
It was huge. Like, we didn't know how many wins we were going to have in our first year. We honestly kind of put our blinders on and just went to work. And then at the end, we were in position to be in the tournament. The goal is not only to get in, but bigger and better. And I think now that a lot of them have seen postseason and the pressure of it in a good way, I think they're going to be more equipped this year.
Nobody likes going to Castle Coliseum to play.
No.
Nobody.
No.
Yes.
But to cover a game at Castle Coliseum,
Yes.
everybody likes that.
So
We
much fun.
certainly do. Coach, we appreciate the time today. Looking forward to seeing what you guys are able to do starting things off on November 4th. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, on the